Well, let us continue this confusing and meandering quest where I look at things.
I also noticed your weapons, Nomura. I've never seen such swords before.
Their names are Crescent and Sunbeam. I designed them myself. It took a long time until I found a smith who was able to make them.
She looks like a pointy ear too. Nature hasn't been kind to her.
For this absent-minded remark, Boindil receives evil looks from Nomura and grins from the men.
Perhaps I really am an elf and will bring you a nightmare in your sleep tonight. Don't be surprised if you wake up screaming.
For a moment, it seems as though she has merged with the darkness, but when you blink, everything is back to normal.
By the gods, isn't she magnificent in her role?
There is no denying what Rodario says.
Damn it. The same button is for moving around the map as it is for skipping dialogue, so there's moments where I get to the next spot, I'm like, alright, we got to it, nothing happened, I'm clicking the next one, but then dialogue loads, I'm like, no! Oh, well, it's gone forever now.
The group isn't overly friendly towards Geralda, and this evening she's sitting once again apart from the others. You ask yourself what you can do to break the ice when you see that she has a file in her hand. The file is wrapped around with silver wire and has a snap lock. The liquid in it is black. Geralda opens the lid and takes a big swig. As she puts down the bottle, a smile flits across her face, followed by a short expression of deep satisfaction. It is the first time that you have seen a positive emotion on the face of the somber dwarf.
Is that medicine?
No, it's... I don't know either. If I don't drink it, I have a longing for it. It gets stronger and stronger until I can't stand it anymore. When I drink it, the longing disappears, and I feel rested and strong.
And when the file's empty?
I don't know. I don't know where I got the drink from, let alone what it is. But if I don't drink it, Frackers, give me strength. I think I would go crazy or die.
Geralda plays with the file, lost in her thoughts, as if she were trying to remember where she saw it for the first time.
She is an absolute mess. So she's hooked to some sort of weird mixture where she doesn't know where it came from. She barely knows who she is or where she came from or what's going on, and she doesn't even know what drives her to do the things she does. She's just wandering around based on urges, basically. And for all we know, she keeps having her memories rewiped over and over again, and she's probably even inserted into our group to serve some sort of purpose. The fact that she's so pale is very suspicious.
When you enter the pretty little village with its richly ornate houses and its temple to Palandial at its centre, you can see an angry mob some distance away. The villagers are hassling a young woman, insulting her and pushing her to the ground. You push your way through the crowd of people and stand in the way of the villagers.
What's going on here?
A man dressed in richly decorated vestments looks you up and down.
Palandial be with you, dwarf. It is none of your business, but this woman here is a thief. She and her henchmen have emptied the monastery's granary and were willing to abandon us to our fate.
That's a lie. We asked for help and these people turned us away. I came back to ask again.
What evidence do you have against this woman?
We found the granary broken into. Almost a third of our grain and a significant amount of supplies have gone. And all this just one day after she and her people were snooping around here.
That isn't proof. It could simply be coincidence. Anyway, why would a thief come back to the scene of a crime?
The priest eyes you in silence, while some of the villagers make it clear that dwarves should keep their noses out of their business.
That's a very good point. If they made off with all their grain, why would they come back after the villagers are mad?
Tell us what happened.
The villagers grumble, but the priest gives the woman a chance to defend herself.
My name is Tavia. I was forced to flee Tabayin with my family when the perished land began to spread. My husband, we had to leave him behind.
The horror in the woman's eyes gives you a good idea as to what became of her husband.
No one accepted us in the north. There are too many refugees and everyone is scared. Queen Wei has offered land in Weyen to anyone who will work hard for it. But what should we grow if no one will sell us grain? We offered a fair price, but Father Malin...
She darts a scathing gaze at the priest.
He wanted double the amount.
The priest glances briefly at the angry villagers. Then he replies in a firm voice.
It was a hard winter, and with the increasing frequency of orc attacks, we must think of ourselves first and foremost. Even we cannot help everyone.
The bystanders mutter in agreement.
The accusations are serious, so let's get to the bottom of the matter to be completely sure.
We have no doubt that she did it.
The priest looks at the villagers standing around him, the lust for blood written in their faces.
On the other hand, before we do something we can't undo...
Dissatisfied murmuring grows, which the priest debates with mollifying gestures.
Search for your evidence. You there, lock this woman up in the guardhouse in the meantime.
The woman is taken into a squat building made of rough blocks of stone. The crowd slowly disbands.
Well, this is a mess. But yeah, they don't have much evidence against her, and it seems odd that she would come back after things are going to be dangerous for her. So it seems weird that she'd come back. Let's check around. Hopefully no one kills her in her cell.
The priest is lost in thoughts, standing in front of the temple, as if he couldn't decide whether to go in or not.
Supposing Tavia really did steal the grain and supplies, but only to save her family, would you turn a blind eye?
Palandiel teaches generosity, but that too must have its boundaries. We cannot help everyone. At some point there won't be enough for us.
So, if you had sold the grain, the people of Seaton would have starved?
Maybe not. Not yet. But if we always give everything we have away...
No one is saying always, and no one is saying everything.
The priest shrugs his shoulders apologetically. He doesn't wish to spoil things with his flock.
I was wondering, what was here first, the temple or the village?
Ah, a keen eye. The temple is indeed much too big for such a small village. It was built on the foundations of an old stronghold when salt was found nearby. The village has grown over the years in the shadow of the temple. Good people live here, honest and pious children of Palandiel.
He glances at the place where the woman was surrounded.
Why can't we just be left in peace?
You nod goodbye, and the priest returns the gesture. You enter the village's large storehouse. The ground floor of the two-story building is full of turnips, with large barrels and clay pots on the floor and on high shelves. Several villagers are carrying out stock-taking. They're being supervised by a weedy man who observes them with a grim expression and writes things on a wax tablet every now and then. Work is in full swing. The man with the wax tablet grumbles now and then in agreement when one of the peasants shouts out a number to him. It shouldn't take too much longer until they finish the inventory. There are sacks piled up on top of one another on the first floor. They are most likely filled with different kinds of grain and, judging by the omnipresent white dust, flour. You walk towards the only area in the storeroom where you can see the floorboards. You hesitate as your boots slip on the floor, as if you're walking on mud. The Magister Technicus carefully observes the roof beams above the empty corner. He grabs at a beam and crumbles something between his fingers. You can't make out what it is, so you copy him and feel damp, rotten wood. It's very easy to pull away small pieces.
What are you doing here?
The man with the wax tablet is standing on the stairs. He sounds half angry, half shocked.
No one is allowed in here.
Who are you? And what are you doing here if no one is allowed to be here?
I'm allowed to be here. It's my job. I'm the steward of the temple. Morris is my name.
The rain has gotten here. The roof and the floor are damp.
Those savages! It wasn't enough that they steal from us, they had to damage the roof too! That was probably where they got in.
The wood didn't start to rot yesterday, good man.
The steward's face turns bright red.
And you are the experts on such things, are you?
Assuming the roof here has been leaky for a long time, what would have happened to the grain in the sacks directly underneath? Wouldn't it have turned rotten?
The man wets his lips. His gaze darts around the room.
The roof was fine. I'll have it repaired. And now, get out of here!
The steward angrily blocks off all further attempts at talking to him, and even when you threaten him with Father Malin, it doesn't have the desired effect. The father trusts in him, he says, and he's always been a devout follower. The heavy door of the storehouse closes behind you, and you hear a bolt sliding into place from the inside.
Well, that is plenty incriminating, isn't it? So it would appear that the roof wasn't repaired when it should have been. It started leaking. It damaged and ruined all the grain and flour below it. And trying to hide it, the person saw this moment where weird, suspicious visitors were coming into town and used that chance to dump all of the grain that was rotting and blame it on them. And so he's the one that really is ultimately at fault for a lot of this stuff, and he's putting it off on someone else.
You enter the guardhouse, and before the guards know, Boindeel and Boendal have caught them up in a friendly conversation. Shielded from the view of the guards, you exchange a few words with the suspect without being disturbed.
Why did you come back to the village?
I wanted to negotiate with Father Malin for the grain. What else could I do? No sooner had I arrived than they surrounded me and accused me of robbery.
Where have you taken the grain and supplies?
I don't know anything about grain or supplies. Apart from the fact that we could do with both, I'm telling you, I am innocent.
We won't let anyone do anything to you, but if we are going to help you, you will have to tell us the truth.
The woman looks you in the face, then her head sinks, and when she looks back up, she has tears in her eyes.
Please, I just want to go back to my family. I don't know what happened.
Tungdil.
You feel sympathy towards the woman. You raise your hand to silence Rodario and nod to the woman to continue talking.
We asked for grain and were full of hope when we saw the well-filled granary. But we hadn't reckoned on the malice of the people here.
A slow, ironic clap sounds from behind you. Confused, you turn around to face Rodario.
Bravo, my dear, with tears and everything. Tough luck that a master of the art of acting is present. None of what she said corresponds with the truth, Tungdil. She is lying and trying to deceive us. Not completely talentless for an amateur.
You expect the woman to deny everything, but when she overcomes her amazement, she spits in the actor's face.
And what if I am? I would do it all again. The people here have more than they need and my people are starving. Is that fair?
Well, so much for that.
Why did you come back here after stealing the grain and supplies?
We didn't steal them. We paid for them. A reasonable price, just not to Father Malin.
You had help.
He promised us 36 sacks of grain. When we opened the sacks in our hideout, we realised that most of the grain was rotten. He thought he'd get away with it.
The woman looks around wearily.
And by the looks of things, he has.
Well, the plot thickens for the third time. This is actually a really well-written scenario. So first we have the evidence of the rotten stuff, so we think that maybe he's blaming it on this random person that came by. Then we find out that she's a liar, so then you think, oh, she stole them, but then what's the point of the rotten part? Now we find out that she basically paid the person that probably the person who runs the granary to smuggle the stuff out, but he used it as a sly opportunity to get rid of the grain he couldn't use anyway. Dun dun dun.
Morris the steward offered you the grain, didn't he?
What does that matter? I've no proof it was him. And even if I did, if I admit that we have the stuff, I'll be hanging from a tree by this evening and my children will starve. I beg you, let me go. We bought the grain and the supplies. Perhaps he wasn't allowed to sell it to us. But we paid. And with a little seed we can sow, at least some of us have a chance of surviving the year.
I don't want you to be hanged just because you tried to support your family. Go.
You open the door. The guards jump up, take up their swords, and let their hands sink down again when they feel the axes of the dwarves against their throats. The woman lays a hand on your shoulder for a moment as a sign of gratitude before she runs from the guardhouse.
I hope you know what you're doing, scholar.
Rodario's furrowed brow does not give you the feeling you've made an undisputed decision.
Yep, I figured this could go poorly, but before they disregard my investigation and just go after her anyway because I'm going to accuse somebody they trust, I'm going to just get her out of here, hopefully. Let's send Namora, because that's what she's supposed to be good at.
Namora, find out where she's heading and then rejoin us.
Fergus wants to raise an objection, but before he can think of the right words, Namora has kissed him on the mouth and has disappeared round the next corner. You leave the guardhouse and explain your plan to Father Malin. You expect him to object, but he seems to be satisfied. You assume he'll make you responsible for everything if something goes wrong, and will claim a piece for himself if you are successful.
That's oddly amiable. I imagine they're going to be at the next village over here. Well, there, so I might as well, if I go forward, I'll probably find my way there. Unless, well, could be Kalestead. I should check this place just because it's named, I suppose, as opposed to this boring place that's not.
Like every night in the wilderness, you set up camp and assign the watch. Bavragor takes first watch this evening, while the rest of you sit by a small fire, toasting some bread. You're not particularly surprised that neither Bavragor nor any of the others notice the guest who suddenly appears out of the darkness next to you.
Namora!
Fergus jumps up, and moments later has embraced her tightly.
Were you able to find out anything?
She didn't detect me and led me straight to the hideout. I can show you. It's a cave some miles off from the path. Almost 4 people, men, women and children.
You nod. You have tracked down Tavia's hideout.
Okay, and where was that? Is it in the journal? Side quests, Geralda. Journey of the Firstlings. Why is it not in my quest log? It's not that, is it? The thieves' hideout's up there? What in the world? That's an eternity away. What? What in the... That doesn't make sense. Is that a different thief that I forgot about? We traveled for 1 day. How the hell did they get up there and then she came back? Even with Poldbrook, that doesn't work that way. What in the... That makes no sense. It would take so long to go there. I would have to spend half my supplies going there and back. What the fuck? I'm gonna go visit this place.
When you enter the strongly fortified mountain village, you see a large group of miners standing around a shaft in heated discussion.
I really saw him, I swear!
A young man in mining clothes defiantly stares at an older man who is a good head taller than him.
Even if you did, smashing the lift hoist, it would have been better to have not sent the cage down again until we cleared this thing up.
Is there a problem?
The older man, perhaps a foreman, is so angry that he hardly seems to have realised that he's talking to a dwarf.
Mika here says that he saw orcs in the mine, and he smashed the lift hoist to bits. The cage has crashed to the bottom of the shaft. How are we supposed to work now?
Can we help you somehow?
Help? Well, we'll have to repair the hoist, and we need a new cage.
The foreman turns to a man next to him for answers. He's just as muscular, with dirty, calloused hands and an angular face.
It will take at least 2 weeks, but we don't need any help, unless you can speed up time.
I'll need 1 day. 2 at the most, if there are problems.
The foreman looks aghast at the Technicus, unsure whether he's joking or not.
1 day? Have you got any idea how...
Fergus is the most talented Magister Technicus in Girdlegard. And anyway, what have you got to lose? Let him help.
Well, as long as he doesn't get in my way...
The worker shrugs his shoulders.
Why not?
So basically all of our new friends are comically talented super soldier and crazy superhero, like, Deus Ex Machina characters that just solve every problem instantly. Okay.
Good. Then we'll help you. But we would like provisions for it. 30 rations.
Sure. If you pull it off, the provisions are yours. You really trust in your skills, don't you? Mika, give him a hand.
Fergus immediately gets to work, examining the hoist. After a few moments, he sends Mika off with a list of tools and spare parts, and explains to you how to build the cage, while he takes care of the hoist's rustic mechanism. After half a day, the cage is operational again, but Fergus is still busy with the hoist. You just hear him muttering.
So far, there is no automatic brake in case the ropes snap, but it shouldn't be too hard to fit one.
Fergus decides to fit the automatic brake, but it takes more time than expected. Building the hoist from scratch would have been simple, but the upgrade turns out to be complicated. In the end, it takes 2 days until the lift is operational again. After the work is done, you report to the foreman.
You've kept your part of the deal, we'll keep ours. Take the provisions for your journey.
Well, there we go. These kind of little trade work things we can do would definitely make a big difference on our overall... all the money that we need... not our money, the food we need just to get around out here. Oh, he's a vendor. He's got even more provisions! Haha! There we go. That helps with the whole problem. Do I have stuff to sell anymore? No, I haven't gotten any more since last time.
You travel down into the mine in the repaired lift. Mika shows you the place where he saw the orcs, and you follow the winding gallery. After 1,000 paces, you stopped counting, and only after several hours do you reach an exit. There's a stench of tallow in the air. The tunnel leads directly into a huge orc camp, which blocks the path into Snowdale Valley. If you attacked from here, you'd have the element of surprise on your side.
I could go and take a look and perhaps improve our chances for an attack.
You remember how the actor had transformed himself into Lot Yonin and Nudin in Mifadania. You certainly wouldn't bet against him being able to walk through the orc camp unnoticed.
I'll come with you. If I stay in the shadows, they won't see me.
The actor nods gratefully.
I'll come too. I also know how to keep myself hidden.
Nomura wants to object, but you are quicker.
Thank you, Geralda. 2 more eyes and ears would be helpful on such a mission.
Interesting. So apparently that next spot on the map was going to be an orc stronghold, and we just found a secret passage that helps us ambush them. Interesting. Also, apparently I'm going to be stuck with those 3 as my characters. A little more iffy about that.
Listen, try to sabotage their defenses, and if you can safely take out a couple of guards, then do it. But don't take any big risks. Come back here if things get too hairy.
Nomura and Rodario rejoin you without any particular urgency. The infiltration was a complete success. No one detected the 2 of them.
Nobody detected the 2 of them? There was 3 of them. Are we... Did they just not write I assume that it's because Griselda's an optional character, and they just forgot to write Griselda dialogue for that part, because we just mysteriously stopped acknowledging her midway through that sequence. I assume this is where things get nasty. Maybe I should go ahead and give myself a save update while we're here, before I go into what's surely to be a combat scenario.
The guards are much more alert now since the infiltration of the orc camp. You have delivered a serious blow to your enemy, and an attack should now be significantly easier. You enter the orc camp with your companions. You have a long way ahead of you.
So it's always tempting to keep my, the dwarves in the party. I think I might do that again. Maybe this crew? We do have the new party member I haven't checked out yet. But yeah, one nice thing about this, yeah, 95 on their relationship now. So the whole point of their relationship thing is that people that are friends, when they get AP, have a chance of giving their friends AP at the same time. I don't know if that represents a percentage. Like, if that's a 95% chance, that's massive. What? Whoa. It would appear that we're not cool anymore, huh? Okay. That changed. So Boindle doesn't seem to be a fan of Tungdil anymore, but Boindle's pretty cool with the whole thing. There's a 30, just a nothing with anybody. 15, 20, nothing, but 60 and 30 with his friends. This person's 15 and 10. Really 10 with Namora. She's slightly more friends with the person that she tried to kill? That's slightly odd. But yeah, apparently that changed really quickly. But yeah, these two are really good friends with each other, which means that they can give each other AP a lot, which is really useful for letting them use skills often, because in this game, your skills are such a huge percentage of your overall effectiveness that it's kind of a big deal. What does she do? Persuasion. If an enemy deals damage to her, she forces her will onto them, only one enemy at a time. So, does that mean she takes control of them? Like whoever most recently attacked her basically is on her team? Quickfire. Shoots several crossbow bolts at enemies nearby in quick succession. Disappears and reappears next to an enemy, dealing a stab damage. And shoots 3 bolts at a target in quick succession and causes lots of damage. I'll give it a shot. We haven't had a chance to use her yet, so I might as well take her into the fray. Wish I could take more people, just because now the majority of party members don't go into fights with me, which is weird, and not really explained in the story either. There's not even a concession to try to excuse how nonsensical that is. Like, yeah, we're going to all-out war against all the orcs. We'll take like less than half our people. Everyone else is gonna wait out. Like, I can see why the gem cutter guy wouldn't go, but everyone else pretty much is like people you'd want to have in the fray. Wow, Boindle's still super fast. Yeah. Chop. I always forget how comically fast he is. Okay, Tungdil. Whoa, Tungdil. You just chilled the hell out for a little while, huh? That's a health recovery, right? Nope, I screwed up already. Wow. So some of these characters, they just die. Like, people just go down. We'll try it again. Maybe I can draw them out, or maybe I can just run past them. That's also an issue, is like, do I even need to fight them? That's always kind of one of the questions here. Because it often seems detrimental to try to fight people, because there's so many people who can just damage you all the time. I wonder if I can just go for it. I mean, it generally works. As weird as it is, it often works and is less damaging. Okay, maybe it's not working. Am I going this way now? I think, yeah. Okay, you need help now. Oopsie.
Your death is called Geralda.
Your death is called Geralda. Why did I think her name was Griselda? That's clearly not the case. Holy shit, they just keep going. I don't even know where our goal is, honestly. This is alarming. How would you fight all of these people with like a few soldiers? Ah, crap. Is this a dead end? This isn't where we're supposed to go? Shit. God damn it. Oops, not load. That's not where we were supposed to go? Weird. Wow, that happened. I don't see much reason to bring her in because she's kind of squishy and this seems to be like a giant melee. Let's see. These ones might be the right... I want people good at dealing large amounts of damage, basically. Let's see, you have cool abilities, right? I don't know, maybe Burning Dart? Because it might ignite the target, but I think... Thinking Dwarf Brothers and maybe her, 'cause she's hard to hit. Maybe. I'm just iffy on how we're even going to succeed at this. Let's see if Boindle can pull people. Otherwise, what the hell am I going to do with like this giant... There's such a horde of enemies. I can at least try to pull people away from the archers. Wow, there's a lot of archers. That's probably that's why I was having trouble there. Yeah, get in there. I'm stuck on my own teammate and I can't move. Come on, Boindle. There we go.
Yes.
Yeah, it seems like this is gonna be a long one. Oh, she's not even fighting.
He hardly put up a fight.
Wow. That combo's no joke. Yeah, I need to probably just keep running until I get the spots that aren't covered in archers, basically. Which admittedly seems hard, because the archers feel like they're everywhere. I can go for this platform at least, try to clear this out. How did that miss? It's definitely frustrating how often you can initiate an attack, and it just will attack air. You should be able to click on a target and your character will automatically like go, I'm gonna hit that guy, and actually like go find them and hit them. But instead, in practice, what happens is that your character just gives up. He's like, nah, I'm standing right... Holy crap, our whole party's dead. The fuck am I doing wrong? Holy shit, it's just a flurry of damage. Like, what do you do with that many archers? Do I have any kind of anti-archer thing I can use ever? I can't think of a single skill I have that would actually fix that problem. So do I just run for it? Look at that, look at that. Look how many arrows are happening right now. And this is the weakened version, where we sabotage them? What the fuck? That's so many arrows. And they all hit you. I don't understand how you deal with that. Yeah, I'm gonna say that encounter seemed entirely and comically insane. So, instead of dealing with that nightmarish army of insanity, I'm going to go back to exploring. So we'll head up north, go check out stuff around here, that question mark, maybe finally go back to that question mark and there. I think the game might just end there. I honestly am not sure. I'm getting suspicious the game might end soon because people are getting real close to that final... Like, everyone's getting really close to level cap. Like, really close to level cap. So that might actually be the end, for all I know. I don't know how long the game is. So I'm going to try to finish exploring this place, and also I need to follow up on the thief hideout that's in the middle of nowhere. Fastest route to get there should be going north. Probably revisiting places we've been to before, but I can check this question. Oh, Wackenstein. People have mentioned that in the comments. I think I'm going to take the boat to go visit the thieves. That's probably the quickest route we'll have. At that point, I might as well swing around to check out that northern spot before we get ready to leave. Thankfully, I have almost 300 supplies, so the situation has changed in a decent way. But yeah, I'm going to avoid that orc keep at all costs unless I genuinely somehow find out that I can't go any other way. But I think the developers specifically made an alternate path over here on purpose. Oh, weird, it's not connected. But maybe if you do something there, you can go forward. Or maybe I'll be forced to come back and do this later, but I looked at that level and I'm like, that doesn't even look fun to figure out. So I'm gonna avoid it for now.